Hello everyone and welcome. Today we're diving into a topic that's not only crucial for so many competitive exams, but is also just, well, it's fascinating. We're talking about the mighty Indus River system.
Does this feel a little too familiar? Just trying to cram all those names, all those facts into your head? It can be a lot. But what if I told you there's a much easier way to do this? Well, you're in the right place, because we're about to make this whole system something you'll never forget.
Okay, first things first, let's talk about sheer scale. The Indus River is an absolute giant. We're talking about a journey of roughly 2,880 kilometers from start to finish. And get this, over 1,100 kilometers of that epic journey happens right inside India.
So, every great story has a beginning, right? The story of the Indus starts way up in the mountains. So where exactly does this titan of a river actually come from? It all begins with a pretty humble glacial stream called Sengay Kambop, right near the sacred Mount Kailash on the Tibet Plateau. Now, I know what you're thinking. That name sounds specific and maybe a little hard to remember, but don't you worry, I've got a trick for that. And here's all you need to remember. Just this simple phrase. In Tibet, born dus times. Break it down with me. In plus dus gives you Indus, a river born in Tibet. It's such a simple little hook, but it works perfectly to lock in its origin.
Okay, so our river is officially born. Now, let's follow it. We're going to trace its incredible journey from those Tibetan highlands all the way down to the Arabian Sea.
You know, the path is actually pretty straightforward when you break it down into 4 stages. It kicks off in Tibet, heading northwest. Then, it literally carves its way through the breathtaking landscapes of Ladakh and India. From there, it crosses into Pakistan, feeding the huge plains of Punjab and Sindh. And for the grand finale, it creates this massive Indus Delta near Karachi before finally meeting the Arabian Sea. What a journey.
Of course, a river this big doesn't make the trip alone. Think of it as being fed by a whole family of other rivers. We call them tributaries. And just to keep things nice and organized, geographers split them into 2 main groups, the ones that join from the left bank and the ones that join from the right.
So, let's start with the left bank crew. And yet, you've probably guessed it by now, there is an absolutely fantastic trick to remember all of them and in their proper order from north to south.
Here we go. I want you to get this slightly ridiculous image in your head. Zebras shout great kicks. I know, it sounds a little silly, but trust me, silly is memorable. So, what does it all mean?
Let's decode it. The Z in zebras, that's for the Zaskar River. The S in shout is for the Shoyak River. G in great stands for Gilgit. And K in kicks is for the Kabul River. Zebras, shout, great kicks. Boom. 4 rivers, locked in, and perfect order. Simple, right?
Okay, time to switch sides. Now we're looking at the right bank tributaries. And these are probably the most famous of the bunch. We're talking about the legendary 5 rivers of Punjab, the ones that have literally shaped the history of the entire region.
All right, this next mnemonic is pure gold. If you want to remember these 5 crucial rivers in their geographical order from west to east, just remember this piece of advice. Just chill right before sleeping.
Let's map it out real quick. Just is for Jhelum. Chill is for Chenab. Right is for Ravi. Before is for Bias. And sleeping is for Sutlej. And just like that, Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Bias, Sutlej, all perfectly in order from west to east. It just works.
So, now that we know the river and its whole family, let's zoom out to the bigger picture. Because when a river system this huge crosses international borders, it becomes a seriously important geopolitical issue. And that's where the famous Indus Water Treaty comes into play. To really get why this treaty was so necessary, you have to look at the basin's layout. The river is absolutely vital to India, but only about 27% of its total basin area is actually inside India's borders. It's this shared dependency that makes cooperation so incredibly important.
So the Indus Water Treaty, which was signed way back in 1960, divided the rivers up very clearly. The 3 western rivers, that's the Indus, Jhelum, and Chenab, were allocated to Pakistan. And the 3 eastern rivers, the Ravi, Bias, and Sutlej, were allocated to India. So the big question is, how do you remember who got what?
With another fantastic little memory aid, of course. Just think WEPI. It stands for Western Rivers Go to Pakistan and Eastern Rivers Go to India. Or, if you want a visual, think of it as WEPI, like 2 nations each getting their fair slice of the pie. Pretty clever, huh?
Now, A river system this powerful isn't just a line on a map, it's a source of life, a source of energy. And so, naturally, humans have built some absolutely massive projects and dams all along these rivers to harness that power for electricity and for irrigation.
Now, there are a lot, but here are some of the heavy hitters you really need to know. You've got the enormous Bakran Angle Dam on the Sutlej, the Ranjit Sagar Dam on the Ravi, and then projects like Bagli Har and Uri up in Jammu and Kashmir on the Chenab and Jhelum rivers. Each one of these is an absolute powerhouse for the region.
Woo! Okay, we have covered a ton of ground. We've gone from a tiny stream in Tibet to international treaties and gigantic dams. So let's do one final, super fast recap just to lock all this information in place.
All right, let's run through it. The origin, Sengay Kambab in Tibet. The left tributaries, what do zebras do? Zebras shout great kicks. The right tributaries, just remember to just chill right before sleeping. And the treaty, that's our easy little weepy. See? With these little tricks, all the core facts are right there at your fingertips.
And let's end with this thought. The Indus River system was the cradle of one of the world's oldest civilizations. For thousands and thousands of years, it has sustained life. So, the big question for us today is, how will we, as the modern inheritors of this legacy, make sure it continues to sustain life for thousands of years to come?